What's up, guys? Today I put together a list of the top 5 cars in my opinion that could be purchased under $20,000, and this list is purely for sports cars. And I know there's going to be cars that are faster that aren't on the list, but when I think of a sports car, I think of a car that performs great all around, as in daily driving, track performing well on the track, reliability, and so far and so forth. So this is just, like I said, in my opinion. I know there's going to be cars that are faster, but those are probably mostly straight line vehicles, and I wanted to include something for everybody, something that everybody would like. So let's get started. So the cars on this list are not in any particular order. I just wanted to include, like I said, things that anybody who watches this video will like something on the list. So for the first car that I chose, it was early 2000s Porsche 911. These cars had around 250 torque, 300 horsepower, and when they came out new, they were over 60,000, and now they're around 30% of what they were at 20,000. You could find some for cheaper than that. And Porsche has always made a truly refined car, and the 911 has always been the car that I think of when I think of a Porsche. And for anybody who has ever been in a Porsche or has ever driven one, you know that there isn't many rough edges. Everything is, the interior is super nice on Porsche. The outside it's beautiful. It's extremely aerodynamic, and if you look at the older ones, they didn't really change the design much, and that's because the car has always been, it was, I don't want to say perfect from the start, but it was a great car from the start, so they didn't really have to change much, just little changes here and there to modernize it a bit, and so it can move forward with the times and compete with the newer cars. So Porsche has always made a great car, so that's why I included it on this list, because overall it's a great car. It's, the performance is there, the looks are there, it's a reliable car. It's gonna be expensive to fix, but if you have the extra money to put apart, if you're planning on getting this car, put apart some extra money, and you'll know that if something goes wrong, you have the extra money there to spend just in case something does go wrong. I would say go for this car, and it's really a great car, and that's why it was the first car on this list. And when I thought of cars under 20,000, this was one of the cars that instantly came to my head. So the next car on the list is a early 2000s Corvette. The base one you could find around 15,000. If you want a Z06, you could find them around 20,000, but they're gonna have higher miles. But the reason I included this on the list was, just as I talk about a Corvette, there's one right there, but it's the performance is there, the looks are there, the reliability is there, and I wanted to include an American car because I know that's something that a lot of people like, and like I said, I wanted to include something for everybody. So it's not the most refined car. The interior might be dull in the Corvette. I've never been in one, but from what I've seen, what I've heard, the interior isn't as refined as, like I said, the Porsche 911 that you could find in around the same price range. But what is there is the performance, and when you're looking for a sports car, that's pretty much what you're focused on. So that's why I wanted to include the Corvette. It's for the base one, at least 350 horsepower, 360 foot-pounds of torque. When they came out, they were over 40,000, and they're at less than half of what they were when new. And I don't see, at least the STI Corvette, I don't see it depreciating more than it already has. Maybe a little bit more, but your investment is safe if you go with the Corvette, because it's a great car. It's something that a lot of people want, so the value, it's a great value for what you're getting. So the next car on our list is a 2006 Subaru STI. The reason I chose the 2006, because you could find the older ones or even the newer ones for around the same price range. They don't depreciate much, but the reason I chose the 2006 is because that's my favorite. That's the one I like how it looks the most, and that's why I wanted to include this car. So of course it has a 2.5 liter pancake 4-cylinder and all-wheel drive, so it's able to put the power down very, very evenly and very nicely. It's a very practical car because it's a car that you could drive in any land, any temperature, any climate, whatever. You could drive it on dirt, snow, whatever, because it's all-wheel drive. It's a great car. So that's why I wanted to include this car, and you could find them for around $20,000. And overall, it's a great car, and it's one of the newer cars on the list. But like I said, the older ones, they're also around the same price range, so they haven't depreciated much. I think when they came out, they were around $35,000. I think a little bit cheaper, but they've only dropped around $15,000, and it's a great buy because of your investment is safe, and it's an overall great car. So the next car on this list is the E46 M3. That's a car that I considered buying when I was looking for my car, and the reason I considered it was because it's an overall great car like the other cars on this list. It's a great sports car. I think it's looks wise, it's probably one of my favorite M3s, or even BMWs for that matter. All in general, all of their lineup, the E46 is probably one of my favorites. But if you've ever been in one, I've never been in one personally, but I've seen reviews on them, and the people who drive them, they say it's one of the best sports cars you could get for under $20,000. So that's why I wanted to include this car, because it's what everyone talks about, and it's a popular car. And when they came out new, I think they retailed around $50,000, and now they're right around $20,000. The coupe is a little bit more expensive, but the demand is high, so it'll always stay, in my opinion, I think it'll always stay around that price range. Maybe when the newer models come out, it'll drop a little bit more, but I think your investment is safe if you decide to go with the E46 M3. So last but not least, I wanted to include, of course, my car, the S2000. If you've ever seen reviews on this car, everyone raves about the motor, and this is why. Just that 9,000 RPM redline, I think that's what makes the car as great as it is. At least the AP1, the AP2 dropped the redline down to 8,000, but it's still a great car. So it's a 240 horsepower, and when this car came out, it was a little bit over 30,000, and right now you could find AP1s around 15,000. If you're looking at a dealership, private seller is going to be less, but yeah, you could find the AP1 around 15,000. It could go even higher than that. I know in California, at least, for lower mile AP1s, you're looking at around 18,000, or even sometimes more, depending on how many miles and how well maintained it's been. But even if you're looking for something with higher miles, the reliability is still going to be there. Just a tip that I would give if you're searching for one is look for something that they could give you good maintenance records, because if the car has been maintained well, these cars are known to go over 200,000 miles. I've even seen some over 300,000 miles on the original motor. So it's a very reliable car, and it's a fun car to drive from my personal experience. I've owned it for 8 or 9 months, and it hasn't given me any problems. I've just been doing regular maintenance on it, just to keep it as clean as I want it to be, and working in as well of order as I want it to be too. So if you're researching these cars, look on the forums and look at the common issues you want to keep an eye out for when you're looking at one, and that'll ensure that you find a great one, and there's a great value of a car, because it can keep up with German cars, American cars on the track for that matter. But that's the reason I wanted to include this on the list. So thanks for watching this video. If there's any cars that you would have added to the list or substituted a car for something else, comment down below. I really want to hear your guys' input, and thanks for watching.